Welcome to the new format from Outside Views Global and welcome to the Daily Tea on September 7th, 2021. Let's start in Los Angeles. US rapper Lil Nas X advertises his new album with a fancy motive. He was photographed as a heavily pregnant man. The 22-year-old posted a series of photos on Instagram on Thursday showing him with a bare baby bump. In a white cape with a bouquet of flowers and a wreath of white roses on his head, the musician kneels at the edge of a pool. To do this, he provided a fake ultrasound recording, which instead of baby, shows a section of the record cover. "Surprise!" writes the two-time Grammy winner. He could hardly believe that he was finally announcing the arrival of his little bundle of joys for September 17th. He announced the release date for his debut album Montero, named after his real name Montero Lamar Hill, a week ago. The idea for the photo shoot with a baby bump came to him while talking to his stylist, the rapper told the US magazine People. "This is his baby," he said jokingly about his album. The pregnancy advertisement emerged from this thought. "Working on this album was therapy for me," the rapper had previously explained. The 22-year-old is one of a small but growing number of US rappers who openly talk about their homosexuality. The Georgia-raised musician had his breakthrough in 2019 with the country hip-hop hit Old Town Road. At the beginning of April, he landed his second number one hit in the USA with Montero, Call Me By Your Name. And from Los Angeles, let's go to London. The British singer Sarah Harding, unfortunately, has died as a result of her breast cancer. This was announced on Sunday via the official Instagram account of the 39-year-old, who became known with her former band Girls Aloud. "She fell asleep peacefully this morning," said the message, which was headed with the words, "A message from Sarah's mother." "She struggled so hard from diagnosis to her last day," it said. Harding, who was also an actress, had made public in August 2020 that she had been diagnosed with advanced breast cancer. "I fight as hard as I can," she wrote on Instagram, with a picture of herself from the hospital. After her death, fans on the internet as well as the stars of the British music and television scene reacted in dismay. Harding's former Girls Aloud colleagues, Nicola Roberts and Nadine Coyle, were devastated. The band emerged as a winning quintet from the British talent show Popstars The Rivals in 2002 and was particularly successful in Great Britain, but also had many fans outside of the UK. And now let's go to something more cheerful, to Berlin. The Fashion Week started in Berlin on Monday. The Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week was coming up at the Kraftwerk and was showing collections at classic shows and digital presentations, and will do that until September 8th. After the start with the young Austrian designer Florentina Leitner, fashion by Isabel Vollrath, Kilian Kerner, Rebecca Rütz and Marc Kane are on display. At About You Fashion Week, also in the Kraftwerk, 13 brands will be presented with live shows from September 11th to 15th. It is about fashion for the current autumn and winter. For the first time, Guido Maria Kretschmer and Marina Hörmannseder are there. Heidi Klum's daughter Leni Klum, model Lena Gerke and singer Lena Meyer-Landrut also present collections. And one more time in Berlin, but with an American star, Hollywood star Angelina Jolie, special envoy for the UN Refugee Agency, sees the developments in Afghanistan as an example of systematic political failure. "Afghanistan is not a slip-up or an isolated case, it stands for a pattern, it stands for decades of neglect of human rights," said Jolie to the German newspaper Welt am Sonntag. "The country is showing both the lack of well-thought-out human rights-based interventions and the collapse of the international system," she says. "The whole world is in a worse state today than it was 20 years ago," said Jolie. "We have more unresolved conflicts and millions more refugees," she is sure. And now, let's go to New York. Hollywood stars, musicians, athletes, politicians, and even America's First Lady congratulated the pop icon Beyonce on her 40th birthday in a joint video. "You have paved the way for so many artists, I admire you," said US singer Taylor Swift, for example, in the 4-minute clip that the fashion magazine Harper's Bazaar published on its website on Saturday, Beyonce's special day. Around 20 celebrities appeared in the video. "You are a gift to this world," said Emmy Award-winning actress Kerry Washington. Congresswoman Maxine Waters thanked Beyonce for the support she gives other women. The talk show star Oprah Winfrey promised Beyonce that the best years of life will begin at 40. Well, I doubt that a bit because I'm over 40 and okay. "All the best," said Jill Biden, wife of American President Joe Biden, into the camera. And now let's go to Moscow. In a white tuxedo and black shirt with a white bow tie in front of the Kremlin in Moscow, the Rammstein singer Till Lindemann performed in the Russian capital at the military festival Spasskaya Bashnya on the Red Square. The singer, popular in the gigantic empire, performed his version of the Russian heroic song Beloved City on Saturday evening in Russian. This was even highlighted by the RIA Novosti state agency. The government newspaper Rossiyskaya Gazeta raved about Lindemann's appearance. "The audience was super enthusiastic. The stands literally exploded with applause that turned into long ovations." Lindemann has been announced as a star guest there. His snow white jacket looked graceful, wrote the Rossiyskaya Gazeta admiringly in its online edition. And let's go to Berlin for another time. After the forced corona break, there are more opportunities for musicians to perform again. Classical star pianist Igor Levit still sees the situation as ambivalent. "It's a bit schizophrenic," he says. "On the one hand, it's of course exhilarating to be able to make music again, to pursue what I love. At the same time, the price that people had to pay on and behind the stage was extremely high." Levit told this to the German press agency. And he said, "If, for understandable reasons, the attendance at the performance is very low, concerts, for example, have to be doubled, and that's just mentally borderline. For everyone who makes such concerts possible, stage workers, agencies, organizers, artists, it's very difficult. In this respect, it has been an exhilarating and exhausting summer so far." And now, let's go to Washington with another baby story. The US Democrat shooting star Transport Minister Pete Buttigieg and his husband Chasten have presented their offspring to the public. Pete posted a photo on Twitter on Saturday showing him and his husband in bed, both with a newborn baby in their arms. He wrote, "We are delighted to welcome Penelope Rose and Joseph August Buttigieg into our family." He did not give any further details about the babies. A good 2 weeks ago, Buttigieg announced that he and his husband had become parents. Pete caused a sensation as a candidate for the presidential candidacy of the US Democrats at that time. During the election campaign, he worked his way up to the top of the internal party applicants field at times, mostly in surveys, and gained enormous popularity and profile before he dropped out of the race. And now let's go to Riga, to Latvia. The Latvian conductor Andris Nelsons is a big fan of the music of Richard Wagner. "Wagner is one of the most brilliant composers," he said. "The music is very close to me personally." He said that at the Gewandhaus Orchestra in Leipzig on Saturday to Latvian radio. The enthusiasm for the sounds of the German musical genius came from his childhood. He says, "My parents took me to the first opera when I was 5, and it was Tannhäuser. Since then, I've been very fond of Wagner's music. I was almost dependent on his special music," said Nelsons. This weekend, he is giving 2 concerts with the Bayreuth Festival Orchestra in his hometown of Riga. And now, let's go to London in the UK. The British Booker Prize winner Hilary Mantel is fed up with her country after Brexit and wants to take on Irish citizenship. She says, "I feel the need to pack my bags and become European again." She told that to the Italian newspaper La Repubblica on Saturday. With regard to the British form of government, she said, "I could breathe easier in a republic and maybe I can arrange that." The writer, for example, of Wolf Hall, referred to her origins from an Irish family. This has shaped her. "When I started writing, I saw myself as a provincial writer in the good sense, as a European writer and not an English one," she said. And now, let's go to Tokyo in Japan. Olympic host Japan enjoys a reputation as a modern high-tech nation, as a hip mecca for manga and anime, as a stronghold for cool robots. But when, shortly before the end of the Paralympics on Sunday, Japan's court reporter announced that Princess Mako would marry her college friend Kei Komuro this year, the country suddenly showed itself not from its friendly, playful, but from its ultra-conservative side. The wedding of Mako would be unadorned without the traditional rites and ceremonies customary at court, it was said, and it almost sounded like punishment. But what happened? Princess Mako, daughter of Crown Prince Akishino, the younger brother of Emperor Naruhito, and his wife Kiko, has actually been engaged to her college friend of the same age for around 4 years, unofficially. They actually wanted to get married in 2018, which would make Princess Mako a private person, because Komuro is a commoner. Mako would receive a one-time sum of money from the state before leaving the court. But suddenly the wedding date was cancelled. And what was the reason? Komuro's mother owes money to a man she was once engaged to. To this day, many in the population are outraged by the thought that the debts of Komuro's mother could be settled with Mako's tax-financed dowry. All of this must have weighed heavily on Mako and Komuro, but apparently that didn't change anything about their love. Komuro went to the United States to study law. In May, he graduated and passed the bar exam in New York. He's now financially on his own 2 feet, can help his mother if necessary, and marry Mako. This enables the princess to escape to freedom, explains Ernst Lokowand, an intimate connoisseur of the Japanese imperial family. The restrictive life behind the dense chrysanthemum curtain of the imperial palace, characterized by ancient rituals, has sometimes been difficult for other women. A woman who did not always have it easy at court is the mother of today's Emperor Naruhito, Michiko. She was the first commoner that an emperor was allowed to consort against the almost 2,000-year-old tradition. She suffered so much that she even lost her voice in the meantime. Michiko's daughter-in-law, the former elite diplomat and today's Empress Masako, is also an outsider at the imperial court and suffered from psychological pressure. Masako officially fell ill with an adjustment disorder, which resulted from the enormous stress of her office. Many observers saw behind this, above all, the pressure, which had been onerous for a long time since their wedding, to give birth to a male heir to the throne. 2001 daughter Aiko was born. However, because of her gender, she is denied the throne by law. Her relative Princess Mako will soon no longer have to worry about all of this. The princess had already been taught free thinking at the International Christian University, where only Christians are allowed to be teachers, and the lecture Introduction to Christianity is compulsory, as Lokowand explained to the German press agency in Tokyo. It was at this university that Mako met her future husband a few years ago. The princess was the first member of the imperial family to study at the ICU. According to observers, the desire for freedom is also expressed in the fact that Mako declared that she did not want to accept the dowry of around 1 million euros. And even if this is not legally possible, she is said to have already announced that she wants to donate the money. Apparently, she doesn't want to end up like her aunt Sayako Kuroda, explains Lokowand. The daughter of the former Emperor Akihito had also not married a man from the old nobility in 2005, but a perfectly normal Japanese. At that time, the princess went through all traditional wedding rites at court and also received the state one-time fee. Although she has officially been a commoner since then, she has the duty of the court to serve as the highest priestess of the Ise shrine, the most sacred shrine of the Shinto religion. The sun goddess Amaterasu, the patron deity of the nation and mythical ancestor of the emperor, has been worshipped here for more than a millennium. Apparently, in order to evade all such obligations and to calm her critics, Mako waives the state dowry. She throws everything down, summarizes Lokowand. Japan's court reporters claim that Mako will follow her future husband to the USA, As a commoner, she will receive a passport for the first time in her life and will spend her life there. While Princess Mako and Komuro look forward to their future together in freedom, the guardians of the imperial family worry about the future of the court. The oldest hereditary monarchy in the world is gradually running out of offspring. Just men are allowed on the throne according to the law in force. Mako's younger brother, 15-year-old Prince Hisahito, is the only remaining male member of the youngest generation of the imperial family after her father. And I hope this new format on Outside Views Global with some tea, and it will get more spilling tea in the future, I promise, was of your liking. And I'm trying this out now, and I hope you will see many more episodes of this. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.